Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Welcome if you are new. My name is Haley and I love to talk about bookish things. Please ignore the split in my lip. My lips have been extremely chapped and it just decided to split last night. Also right here, this is my TBR cart of my current TBR, if you see that in the background. Today we're doing my January wrap up. I cannot believe January's over. We're also going to do like a little flip through of my reading journal. So let me turn. Man, I love seeing like things like start to like my ABC challenge. I got some books read for the alphabet challenge, and then I finished some series this month, so I'm really excited. All right, I'm going to turn to January. I want to do something different with like the size of the books that I print out, because I don't know, they're a little big, so I want to like lower that size. But without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it and talk about the books. All right, first off, I read The Reaper by Runex. I gave this book 4 stars. I read it in a day. It was really, really good. I loved the ending of Tristan and Marana's story. I can't really tell you much about it because it is the second book in a series, but it is a mafia. It's a dark mafia series. And I'm really excited to get to the next book because that is Dante and Amara, I think is her name. Their story. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. I enjoyed this one more than the first one, but I don't know where I was going with that. All right, next up, I read The Puppeteer in the Poison Pond by Brandy Elise Zecker. There was so many times that I was going to DNF this, and then I got to a point in the middle that something happened, and I was like, okay, we're going to hang on just so I can find out what happens next. I gave this book 3.5. I gave the first one 4, the second one 3, and this one 3.5. And so I have the fourth one. The fourth one is the last one out. Because, you know, I'm one of those people that buy the whole series before I read it. So I don't know if I'm going to buy the 5th book. It depends on how the 4th book goes. The 5th book's not even out yet. I don't know when it's coming out. But yeah, I enjoyed this more than the second one, but not that much more. And I don't know if I want to go and move on to the 3rd one. Who knows? We'll see. And then as like a little palette cleanser type thing, I read The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I gave this 3 stars. I did not like it as much as I did the first one, which is The Deal. The Deal I gave 4 stars. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a good book. It just wasn't fantastic. But I do love these covers. I love these covers so much. And yeah. Mostly I listened to this on audiobook while I was at the gym. So one thing that I like to do at the gym to make the time go by is I like to listen to audiobooks. Not only do I get my reading in, but it makes the time fly by faster. And then I reread Divine Rivals just so that I could go through and annotate, and it looks so beautiful. I love it. Of course, 5 stars. It was 5 stars the first time I read it, 5 stars the second time I read it. This follows Iris and Roman. And it kind of seems like it's set back in like the 40s or like, yeah, 30s and 40s type, you know, era. This is, I believe this reads like a historical romance with fantasy elements. And so basically her brother goes off to war. And she starts working at this newspaper where Roman works. They are going for the same job. And she's writing her brother letters, and only they're not going to her brother, they're going to Roman. And so one day he writes back and he's like, this is not Forrest, like this is not your brother. And so that's where, you know, it kind of takes off, them writing back and forth. I loved this book. And then we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I also annotated this. It makes my heart happy. I love when like the tabs match the cover. I don't know. I gave this 4.75 stars. It wasn't quite the 5-star for me just because it was a little slow in some parts, but I still loved it. I bought the UK covers for both. This kind of starts where we left off in the first book, and yeah, there's not really much I can tell you because I don't want to spoil the first one for you. But, oh, I'm wearing my Valaris shirt. Did I already say that? I probably did. So, yeah, Ruthless Vows. Then I finished the Knock 'Em Out series by reading Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I have read some reviews of people that do not enjoy it, and valid. They have valid points. But I actually did enjoy it. It's just, they had valid points, and some of it I'm just going to choose to ignore. But anyway, so this is Lucian and Sloane's story, and this is like childhood friends to enemies to lovers. So freaking cute. I really, really, really loved it. And plus she's a librarian, so that makes things even more better, you know. And we did get a look into like Lucian's job. Like the whole series, you know, it hints about how he's like really like this powerful man that can get stuff done. And I'm like, what does he do? Tell me, what is his job? But we do get some insight into that. And yeah, it was a good ending to a good series. And I liked seeing the cameos of the other couples in there. And then my babies, I read Saving Six. Look at these tabs. Oh, I really want to jump into Redeeming Six in February, but I don't know. But Saving Six, I gave this 5 stars. 5 stars. I love this book. The Boys of Tommen series, like every book has been a 5-star for me. I have Redeeming Six ready to go. I cannot wait for Taming Seven, which is Gibbsy's book. But this is Joey and Aoife's story. So the first 2 books are Johnny and Shannon, and then this is Shannon's brother Joey and Aoife, and I loved it. I loved it so much. There are like, it does touch on a lot of heavy topics, and so throughout the whole thing I was like, can he just not catch a break? And so in the first 2 books you kind of like, you see him struggling, but in this book you see why and how he got there, and I loved it. I loved it. And then, oh, this bad boy. I reread House of Sky and Breath and tabbed it and annotated it, getting ready for the new release. I gave this 5 stars, as per usual. 5 stars the first time I read it, 5 stars the second time I read it. I loved it. I can't really tell you much about it because it is the second book in a series, but I can tell you that I was reminded, like the first one, it doesn't like, whereas like in ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, they pretty much pick up where the book before it left off. This one doesn't. This one you pick up, and for the first like chapter, you're like confused, or at least I was, and I was like, who are these people? But still loved it, and it was a good, like that cliffhanger. Oh my gosh, the cliffhanger gets me every time. Even though I saw it coming, I still, it gets me every time. So then I went into Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I gave this one 4 stars. I enjoyed it. This is the Aladdin retelling one. So this follows Yasmin and Julian. Really, really good. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. Wasn't quite the 5-star, but oh, I loved it. I would read this again. It was so good. So Yasmin's dad is he owns a jewelry, like a diamond like empire, and the lamp fits in because they're searching for like this like historical lamp, like if you find it, it's worth billions. So good. I'm terrible at explaining books today, y'all. But yeah, Twisted, Never After novel. All I have left is Crossed, and then I am caught up with that series. And then I read this in a reading vlog. Mine by A.K. Rose. I gave it 3 stars. It was definitely very spicy, 5 chili peppers, but insanely Wattpad-y. Insanely Wattpad-y. And there was more spice, not a whole lot of plot, but I did continue on the series because of the ending. Because the ending kind of got me and I want to know what happened next. But if you love Wattpad, like not good Wattpad, you will love this. I just don't know how I feel. But I gave it 3 stars just because of, you know, the ending. I kind of want to give it a 2.5. I'll probably lower that to 2.5, but there's not much to say. This is a taboo dark romance. There is like some mafia aspects in it, but it's about Rife and her 3 stepbrothers. The cringy part is that through the whole thing, even though they're supposed to be in a relationship, they're calling her little sister. And that part, like, gave me the ick. That part is, like, you're treating her like a girlfriend, but you're calling her little sister. That part, it icked me. It icked me. It didn't happen that, I did read the second book this month. Where is that hair? Goodness. Okay, there it is. I did read the second one this month, and they didn't do it as much in the second one as they did the first one, but it icked me. It icked me. I still don't know how I feel about it. I mean, y'all heard the rating, but I still don't know if, like, I would stand by it. Anyway, then I read The Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This is my first Kennedy Ryan book, and oh my goodness, I loved it. I gave it 4.75 stars. This one definitely checked trigger warnings, because it does touch on some heavy topics like abuse and things like that. So, but it is so good. So good. I loved it. I loved it. There were times when I was like screaming at the book, like it gives you all those feelings. So this is about Iris and August, and they meet at a bar one night, and he is, you know, fixing to be drafted into the NBA, and she is very much a basketball fan. She wants to go into sports, like marketing and things like that. And they have one night conversation watching a Lakers game at a bar, and then they go their separate ways. And they keep running to each other through the years because her boyfriend and him are like rivals. Like, they do not like each other. And so they run into each other through the years, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Okay, and then the big chonker of a book that took me 10 days to read, when you know I can pump out books like nobody's business, is the 7th book in the Zodiac Academy. I gave this one 4 stars. And that is because there are some things that could have, like, it gets repetitive. And some stuff I was like, why? This could have been edited out. It's just fluff. I still love the series. I still love the characters. But that's my take on it. I can't really tell you much about it because it is the 7th book in a series. But I really enjoyed it. It's just, there was a lot of fluff. There was a lot of fluff, and it got repetitive. But I still loved it. I still loved it. So yeah, 4 stars. Alright, then like I said, I continued with the Blood Tie series, and I read hers by A.K. Rose. I gave this 3.5 stars. This was a lot better than the first one. Not a whole lot, but it was better. More plot, less spice. And I liked the plot aspect of it. And so there's one more in Rife and her stepbrother story, and then in the same world it keeps going. There's another trilogy after this, and then I think she's fixing to finish another trilogy all in the same world, but it's like different people. But 3.5 stars. I can't really tell you much about it because it is the 2nd book, but she finds herself in this trouble, and through the book we're trying to get her. So yeah, I enjoyed it. There's not really much to say about it. I mean, it was still Wattpad-y, but I enjoyed it better than the first one. I mean, if that says anything. Alright, then I finished the Boys of Brayshaw trilogy. There are 2 more books in the Brayshaw series, which it follows Roy. There are 2 more books in the Brayshaw series that follow Royce and Captain, because this is mainly Raven and Maddox's story. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. This was a reread for me. Remember, I read it on Kindle, and I just got the physical copies to annotate. But yeah, it's so pretty. I love the colors of the cover, and then the colors of the tabs match. I love it. And then I finished another duology, I read Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, and I gave this book 4 stars. It was really good. We're following characters that we didn't really follow a whole lot in the first book, and so that kind of threw me for a loop. But as you're reading, you become connected, and you become you come to love these characters. And the ending got me. It was sad. It wasn't, I mean, it does have a happy ending, but there were some aspects of the ending that I was tearing up. But I did enjoy it. Once again, I can't really tell you how much about it because it is a sequel, but it pretty much picks up where the first one left off. But yeah, Two Twisted Crowns, really loved it. 4 stars. And the last book I finished in January, I finished in 24 hours. And that is this puppy. I finished House of Flame and Shadow in 24 hours. And can you guess? Guess what I rated it? I bet you can't. I bet you can't guess. 5 stars. If you said 5 stars, you would be correct. You would be correct. But I loved it. I loved it. I cannot wait to reread this trilogy. I cannot wait to do my Agatar reread. I cannot wait to do my Throne of Glass reread. If I could just pick Sarah J. Maas's brain, like, that would be awesome. Like, I would read her grocery list. I bet her grocery list is like the best thing ever. I bet, like, her, like, compared to mine, I bet it's a masterpiece. But yeah, that's the last book that I read in the month of January. I loved it. I can't really tell you much about it because, once again, it's the last book in a series and I don't want to spoil the others. I have a, like, Days in My Life video coming out on, well, this will go up on Monday, so on Wednesday. And I read this book in that video. And so it basically turned into a little bit of a House of Flame and Shadow reading vlog. And so you get to see, like, my reactions and things as I'm reading it. But, oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. I cannot wait to read it again. But, yeah. So those are all the books I read. I think I read 16. Yeah, I read 16. So I'm going to go through, like, my reading journal, and I'm going to show you, like, how it turned out for January and what I'm changing for February. So in January, I just started sticking random stickers on there, and I don't like how January turned out. I really don't. I really don't. But that is how January turned out. We have, you know, just our month page, and then TBR, books hauled, and then I had video ideas down there. I'm not putting video ideas in there in February. But we have the first half of the books I've read, which halfway through, I was drawing the stickers, and then halfway through I ordered stickers. And I like how those look a lot. And so it just looks more clean. And then I did have a quotes page. I did not write down that many quotes. That is something I want to do in February, is to kind of keep up with my favorite quotes as I'm reading and kind of write them down better, because I did not keep up with that in January. And then we get to February, which this little blacktail book right here, I put House of Flame and Shadow on my February TBR, and then I read it before February even started, so I took it off. But yeah, this is February, so we have our TBR. Down here is where I'm going to put books hauled. Then we have how many pages I read a day. And then we have the books read. I really like how this, like this one turned out. I love the pinks and the gold. And then we have quotes. So that is February. And then we're going to go, I read 2 of my 24 books in 2024, so we are right on track. Here's what my Goodreads is looking like. Purple is 5 stars, blue is 4, and yellow is 3. And then, did not have any DNFs, but my 5-star faves, I've got to add House of Flame and Shadow on there. And then here is how my bookshelf is turning out. So blue is for January, and then I'm going to do like this pinky color for February. I'm excited to continue adding to it. And then here is my little bar for January. So I'm so excited. We are starting a new month. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not already, like, subscribe, join my bookish community. My goal is to get to, well, my small goal right now is to get to 300. My big goal is to be at 1,000 by the end of the year. But join, subscribe, it would make my day. Join my little corner of the internet. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.